Before we start, a quick disclaimer. Everything demonstrated in this video is strictly for educational purposes, to show you how to protect yourself. All demonstrations are performed in a controlled lab environment on our own testing devices. We never target real users, and using this knowledge to gain unauthorized access to actual people or systems is strictly illegal and unethical.
In this video, I'll demonstrate how to use Kismet to detect nearby Wi-Fi devices. So Kismet is an open source tool. It's a sniffer or driver for capturing activity over Wi-Fi or Bluetooth and other wireless communications. I'll run it as sudo Kismet-c, and then I need to specify a network interface. But actually, before I run it, I'm going to type iwconfig to make sure we have a wireless device that we can connect to and monitor activity over Wi-Fi. I'll type sudo Kismet-c WLAN 0. It gives me some information about Kismet launching or loading up, and it tells me to point my browser to a certain location. So localhost :2501. So I'll copy that address and switch over to my web browser. So Kismet runs a web server, an HTTP server that I can access, and have a graphical user interface into the information. I load it up, and immediately it shows me Wi-Fi access points, and I've run it previously, so it gives me some information. It's sorted in order of signal strength, so the closest devices first, and then devices that are further away. So this HAL 2400 is on my local network, and has the strongest signal because that's the one I'm closest to. So while I'm running Kismet, it's actually logging the information I have here. So all the events, all the information is getting logged to a SQLite database. So after we've explored and let Kismet run for a while and looked at some of its options, we'll actually go into the database and extract some information using SQL. So I can open up the devices, look at all devices, Wi-Fi access points, different types of network types. If I want to look at Bluetooth devices, if my interface card, my wireless card is capable of monitoring Bluetooth, I'll get that information here. In my case, it's not. It's only a Wi-Fi card that I have, a Wi-Fi USB card that I'm using to monitor for Wi-Fi traffic. I don't just have to look at access points either. I can look at all Wi-Fi devices. And it gives me a name. Most often, it's just going to be a MAC address. But I can see if there's any data going to and from those devices. I can click through. I can see all the devices, including Wi-Fi bridges, clients, access points, anything communicating over Wi-Fi within proximity to where I can pick up the signal. There are various alerts that you can set up for Kismet. In my case, it's probably complaining. Yeah, it's complaining that I'm running it as root, which is not ideal. But for the purposes of this demo, it's fine. And SSIDs, so anything with a valid SSID that's being broadcast, I can click through and see the different devices. And I can see things like printers that are host access points. I can see the encryption, whether there's encryption or not. So you can look for any open Wi-Fi devices, things that are sharing networks without any encryption. If you're working in an office building for an organization and you're seeing misconfigured devices, they'll pop up here. Anything without encryption that can get on the network, any rogue access points. Now, one of the things that if you look at the signal strength, I'll go back to Wi-Fi access points. If you have a laptop where you're running Kismet or any type of war driving or wireless monitoring device and you move around with it and it's refreshing as quickly, so there's quite a quick refresh rate, you can move around and actually discover rogue access points by getting close to them. So you might not know exactly where it is, but if you're carrying the laptop around moving, the signal strength is going to change as you get closer and farther away, as you get hotter and colder to the signal. So it's a good way of detecting rogue access points if you can put this in a laptop and move around with it. So I'm going to get out of Kismet. I'll close this down, get back to the command line Control C, and I'll look in my folder. I'll do ls-ltr of my current folder, and I'll grab one of these Kismet files. So these Kismet with the date timestamp .kismet are actually SQLite files. So I'll type SQLite 3 with the file name, the Kismet file, and inside of SQLite 3, I can type in .schema, run the command .schema, and I can see all the tables that exist in this database. So all the packets, all the data, all the devices, everything to do, the alerts, messages, whatever was grabbed by Kismet is stored in this file. The devices are the important one. So I can do select. I don't know if I want to select dev Mac strongest _ signal type from devices. So I can run a SQL query. It'll give me all the MAC addresses, the strongest signal, and the type of device, whether it's an access point, a client, a bridge, etc. Now, I probably want to, in this case, use a where clause, and where type is equal to Wi-Fi AP. This will give me only the access points. Now, the unfortunate thing is that if I look at .schema again, devices does not have the actual device name. So the name of the device is not in these fields, but it's in this device blob column. So if I do select, change that select that I've run, and I'm going to add to my select query the device. And we're going to get a lot of information. So all of the information I'm looking for is in JSON format. I can print the JSON. So if I go back to my device column and type JSON _ pretty and close the parentheses, run this again, you can see it has a nicer output for the JSON. So it's formatted quite nicely, and it gives me some more information about what I'd like to extract from the JSON. So I'm doing a select dev Mac, strongest _ signal, type, JSON _ extract, and in parentheses device, and then in single quotes, I have $. So the syntax to extract the JSON. And then in double quotes, the full name of the JSON name. And now I get what I'd like. I have the MAC address, the strongest signal, Wi-Fi AP, the type, and then the name. So you notice there's a few empty names here. Another way of doing this, there's another field, not just name. I changed the name to common name, and it gives me some information of where the name actually came back as empty. And where it can't resolve a name, it just gives me the MAC address. So it might not be broadcasting a name, but the access point is there. And that concludes this demonstration of finding and monitoring Wi-Fi devices using Kismet.